So hello to everyone who's watching for another episode of Hashtag Ask Jim. We're up to episode number 47. So we're nearly at the half time and we'll do something special for that. And we'll get straight into it like we did, like last week, which is great. We got through a lot of comments and questions. And tonight is a great one to watch. So make sure you tell your friends, because for the next 3 weeks after this, we're going to give away 3 $250 Jim's Group vouchers on every show. And you only have to do a couple of things. So tonight, one person in the audience who's listed some questions here will win one of the $250 vouchers. Now, if you're watching at home on the live stream, leave a comment or question tonight, because all the comments and questions that are left there, we will pick one from that to get a $250 Jim's voucher, and one person from the likes or from the shares. So if you hit like, love, wow face, angry face, whatever, share on the live stream. What we're going to do is we're going to get all your names as well, and then next week we're going to announce it. So you have to be watching and you'll win a $250 voucher, all just for simply liking or sharing the live stream. So it's not a bad hourly rate, $250.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. All right, so what we're going to do now is, before we get to these questions, we actually had some questions submitted via the website during the week. So I had 2. So we have an Ask Jim website on gyms.net, and there is a box there which can be anonymous. So if you are a franchisee in the future, or anyone, you can submit an anonymous question.
All the bad stuff you like, and I won't know who you are. But I'll find out!
Exactly right. Well, we have our ways. But what we're going to do is read one of them out tonight, which is a great one for everyone here, because we are doing it with the live audience at training. So every 3 to 4 weeks, we have the new prospects who come to the training course. So this is a great one for everyone here to take note of. So Steve Walkham, Sir Steve, who's a franchisor.
Yeah, I know Steve.
You actually knighted Sir Steve with a butter knife.
Oh, I did too, didn't I?
Yes, you did. So he's going here. This is a great one. So I'm meeting with a prospective franchisee later this week who is a bit concerned about investing in a franchise due to the bad press associated with the industry, particularly over the last 12 months. Could you please ask Jim to explain the main reasons why Jim's franchise is different from mainstream franchising, and why prospects should not have to worry about losing their life savings?
There's a lot of bad publicity, and there are various reasons why this happens. One of the greatest reasons is that they force people to buy from a certain supplier, and that means that you can actually be forced to buy stuff at double the price that Coles sell. Now, it's actually part of our DNA, part of our constitution, that we cannot take any money off suppliers. We forbid ourselves. Any franchisor who was found to do that will be in serious trouble. So something that's a major problem in the franchising industry would be absolutely impossible. In fact, we had one case with Taubman's,
yes,
the paint.
Yeah.
They said, we'll give you a 35% discount to the franchisees, and there's 10% more for you. And we said, we can't take it. We're not allowed to take it. They said, we've got to give it to you. Our system won't allow it. So I said, what we've had to do is to take the 10% and give it back to the franchisees. So that's an example of the way we're very different. Another example is one of the major issues, if you read some of the stuff that goes on, is when the franchisor changes the system. They go to like in a pizza chain, and they say, you've got to sell pizzas for $5. But it costs them more than $5 to make the pizza. So the franchisor is losing. Or they say, you've got to do this great makeover, even though you're 2 months from the end of your term and you don't know if you're going to be renewed. So that can happen. Now, we have a system in gyms that says if we as franchisors want to change the manual, we have to get permission. So our franchisees actually get asked, and they can say, no, we don't want it. So 2 of the biggest problems that are in the franchising industry are actually impossible in gyms because of our contracts.
That's true. You consult so many people as well. We have the advisory committee, we have the divisional meeting, all that sort of stuff. So it's not just you determining, it's all via consensus, all that sort of stuff.
One of the rip-off things that franchise systems can do too is to say at the end of your term, we're going to take your business back. There's no guarantee. In gyms, it's in the contract. We must give you, as long as you're compliant, you won't last 10 years if you're not compliant. As long as you're compliant, we must renew your contract. That applies franchise or anything. So we've actually got a system that looks at all the problems that could be in the industry and actually makes it impossible. So even if I was to die tomorrow, and I'm in extremely good health, I can assure you, and it was taken away by somebody else, you couldn't, in gyms, nobody could do the sort of things these companies are doing. But having said that, let me say, there's no guarantee you won't lose your money. People do fail in gyms. Not a lot, but some people do fail. So it's a matter of being the right kind of person, going through the trialing system and following the system. It's not a guarantee. It just means the chances are very much with you.
Thanks for that question, Steve, and hopefully your prospect is watching. Now, people are commenting from my Instagram, which is great. So we do have Jim's Group on Instagram, and these are the hats that are up for awards, so they are leaving comments.
What have we got?
Got a handyman and a dog wash.
Oh,
so
right.
These are sitting around the office, so I don't know if Sharon's there or dog wash people, we got them there. But if you're on from Instagram, make sure you leave a comment. People are leaving comments and questions, which is great in the live feed. David McDonald's going, g'day Jim and Joel, what's this Tuesday, Guff Lucky I'm home? Yes, it is traditionally Wednesday night, but we want to mix it up because generally on the Tuesday, David, we have the majority of people at training. However, I think it's because it's such a good night they've gone outside for a beer, which is not a problem at all. But we'll see how it goes.
We're playing giant chess out there too, which is fun.
That's giant chess, exactly.
Anybody a chess player? I'll give you a game of giant chess afterwards. It's really fun. You've got the
Jim's a very good chess player too.
No, I'm not.
He's very
I'm
good.
about the same level as the rest of the IT department, which is not too bad.
No, they're very, very good.
They're chosen for their brains, unlike CEOs who can be actual idiots. So I guess I'm not doing too bad to hold my own with them.
That's very true. So let's get to these questions now. So everyone on a piece of paper wrote some questions. So this is great. You've got a 1 in 10 chance of winning the $250 voucher today, depending on what Jim wants to give to you at the end. So where's Bob? Bob's the first one. I like this one. I think we sort of touched on this sort of last week a little bit, but.
Yes, hi Jim. There's 54 divisions. Have you ever thought about doing an online dating service?
No. Well, actually, the answer question I thought about, the answer is no. One of the greatest delusions in business is because you're good at one thing, you're good at something else. We are very good at providing a service where we go out and wash your dog and mow your lawns and handyman and antennas. And we're good at that kind of stuff. But these are very different kind of businesses. So no, I wouldn't go to dating and I wouldn't go to fast food.
A lot of things could translate over. The star rating, right? You give someone a star rating a match, maybe 1 or 5 star rating. You could breach them if they're sending you some untoward messages. You could breach them.
The funny thing about it is we've been very good at what we do. Whenever I get outside my comfort zone, I tend to lose money. we did a trade exchange that cost me a fortune. Set up a factory to make dog wash trailers. That cost me a fortune. I really stick to my knitting these days.
Yeah, there's a few things, Jimda. Jimda just has good sound to it, so Jimda would go well.
Jimda?
Yeah. Tinder, have you heard of Tinder?
Jimda.
No, the swipe right, swipe left, you could have that. You'd have it almost for services.
What we are doing is the system we're developing, the software we're developing for our franchisees to learn their businesses, we actually will make that available at a significant price to outsiders as well. Because we understand that kind of stuff, we're good at it. It's an area we understand, we know how to run a successful small business. That's our expertise.
Now we've got a question here from Angelo. So where's Angelo? Do we have Angelo? Was it Angela or Angelo? It's a good question. It's probably from some media that's been run on you in the past, which comes up all the time. It's a pretty curly one. All right, we'll ask it. How's the relationship going with the sister that you sacked?
Somebody just asked me that.
Yeah.
Not good. She hasn't spoken to me since. I don't regret it though. It's look. I paid for my sister to come back. I said I'll pay all your travelling expenses. I'll give you a job to get you started. If it doesn't work out, I'll wipe off the debt. Now I thought that would be okay, but she's never forgiven me for sacking her. So, but she was with my mother when she died, and that was holding her hand. That was nice. So from that point of view, it's good. I hope Jill will calm down one day. No nepotism in gyms. I tell my kids, I'll give you a job. That's for being my son and my daughter, but you've got to earn it. You've got to hold it. You cannot rely on the fact that you're related to me to hold a job. You've got to be good at the job.
That's a great one. We haven't had that question before. Do you know what the answer would be? But it's very good. So we've got some comments and questions coming through the live feed, which is great. We're going to try and get to them as much as we can, but I want to get the people in the audience first. So there's another question here from Mustafa. Where is Mustafa? Front row.
Thanks,
With a good Jim's beard, I know.
Inspiration.
Yes. Just need a hat.
Just with a franchisor, I had a question in regards to franchisors. How do you become a franchisor?
Often they're chosen to be the best franchisees. See, the person wants to be a franchisor, I look at the 3 things. First, they're making good money. Because if you're not making good money, how can you teach others to? You've got to have a good customer service rating. Most franchisees do. And ideally, you're the kind of person who really wants to help others. And we have a role called trainer in gyms. And trainers don't get paid. They take new guys out on the road, and then in the evening, a lot of these people will actually spend a lot of time just talking to them and helping them and giving them advice for no reason. Now, a person who does that without getting paid has got the right motivation to be a franchisor because they enjoy helping people. That is ideal. Sometimes we get people from outside, hopefully with a good business background. I was talking to Stefan today, yes, about that, and he's interested in the franchisor kind of roles, and he's got a very good management background, so that's a good potential.
It's a great question. We do get asked that about, and there's the answer for it.
The biggest thing is to have heart. You've got to be somebody who cares about other people. That is the absolute fundamental. If you're in there just to make money, we don't want anybody as a franchisor. You've got to care about people deeply beyond the money side of it. And you can make very good money as a franchisor, but the care's got to come first.
Thanks for that question. That's a really good one. Then we flagged that down. So I'll get through the comments and questions coming on the live stream as well. People are leaving a lot of them. So someone has gone, Mark, Jose, is there any divisions that you won't look at if someone wanted to join gyms? Any divisions that you won't look at was the question.
I won't look at?
Yeah, so maybe any services, anything that you wouldn't touch.
Gyms, brothels, I mean.
Well, speaking of that, I had a question at the start, which I was going to leave to the end. I don't know how we're going to work it in, but we'll work it in now. Where is Eddie? All right, here we go. We're going to... I didn't know that.
You got a sharp question, have you, Eddie? Is that right?
I just thought, so we'll just sort of relate what you were saying before. We just start a division called Gym Gigolos, like first service free or something.
I don't know about that. Do you know what this guy's name is? You know,
No,
you know who he's known around the office?
No,
the man whore.
No, I'm not.
No, he doesn't charge for it as far as we know, at least not yet.
No. It's been going on this one for a while now. If you watched last week, you called me, what'd you call me, wanker last week? You done that one a couple of times.
You got to be the coach, but you got to run with the insults.
I'm a gentleman. I'm a gentleman, Jim. But we haven't had that one before, so it's a.
It doesn't sound like Jim's Gigolos. It's kind of got a. Yeah.
It is very catchy.
It is actually, if you think about it.
JJ's is good.
I suppose technically speaking, that kind of stuff does fit within our. You know, you phone up or you go online looking for a service.
You get a star rating as well.
So are you volunteering yourself to be the founding franchisor of?
I think I'd go broke.
We had a franchisor once. We were actually going around in a circle. We were asking what you used to do before you came into gyms. And this guy he's about as wide as he's tall. He's short. He's a funny looking guy, as round as a ball. And
don't hold back, do you?
No. But we asked him. Yeah. And he had a very serious look. He said, "Before this, I was a pornographic model." And then
really?
Completely deadpan, he said, "Of course, I didn't get a lot of work."
I didn't know how we'd work that question in, but we've managed to work it in tonight. So that's definitely a unique one. So we'll get to a few. There's an announcement.
We had some incredibly good-looking single franchisees out there, ladies. Anybody out there looking for a husband material? You know, we've got some great masculine single guys, not man whores interested in serious relationships.
Jim's franchisee wants a wife, Jim. We could do a little bit of a reality show like that. Like the farmer wants a wife, Jim's franchisee wants a wife. We could do that.
They're some good guys, and they make a lot of them make very good income too. Seriously, you know, it's this whole millionaire next door thing. You'd be surprised how much money our franchisees make. So you've got these young blokes at 24, 25, they're making like $250,000 a year.
Oh, more. Dan, for example.
Well, he's already married.
That's true.
That is true.
But
I tell you what, I reckon you could do a lot worse, girls, than go for
Jim's franchisee.
A single.
That's right.
Muscular, fit, good-looking franchisee of ours. If you want to write in, I'll put you up on the website. We'll make a website for you.
So we are going to do matchmaking then. We're going to do a Jim's dating service. That's what you said. You can leave your details at the call centre if you're a franchisee.
Not as a business.
We can put them on a webpage.
I just want to look after my franchisees. We want to provide total service to our franchisees.
Well, that's definitely
possible. Now, Jim's Gigolos, we definitely draw the line at. But
well, when we do have the icons on the website for benefits of joining gyms, we can put a little love heart there now, can't we?
I think so too.
We can do that.
Yeah.
We'll keep going with that one. That was a great question.
You remember Val from the office? She was around when
I do.
She was with us for 20 years. She's single. I kept on offering to put her picture in a bathing suit on the franchisee, just inviting franchisees who were looking for a wife, but she just, for some reason, she said no. I don't know why.
It probably wouldn't have worked. No.
Oh, Shirley.
No, we'll leave it as is. We won't even go into that one. We can talk after about
that.
No,
actually, it was Shirley. It was Shirley. It wasn't Val. Because Val's married.
We'll leave that as is. We'll talk about that one after the show. We'll keep going here. There's some more ones.
You probably ought to excise that part from the.
We can't do it. It's all live. That's all right. All right. So Eugene, who's our RT, is basically saying there's some issue with the network at the moment. So what that might affect his FMS, franchise or website, maybe gyms online. He's looking into it ASAP. So engineers and investigators are investigating the network issues at some sites, and they'll provide updates. So if you are using Jim's system and wondering why it's gone down in some aspects, that's the reason why. They're onto it here. Now we've got a question here from Stefan. This would be a good serious segue out of that.
A more serious question. Do you believe the Australian bushfires were climate change related?
Yeah, I do. It's got part of it. The thing of it is, it's probably 10% climate change and 90% shoddy land management. You know, the fact that we don't cool burn often enough. The latest, we did a whole podcast on this, didn't we?
Yeah, we have the podcast.
But the latest, back after the Black Saturday fires 2009, the Royal Commission first recommended that 5 to 8% of the bush be burned every year. I mean, they don't even do 2%. So this is a disaster waiting to happen. So yeah, I actually personally believe we should be doing something about climate change pretty serious, but I also think we should look after our country a lot better too.
It's a great one. Definitely the Jim's cast. We talked around for an hour with it as well. Everything about Scott
Have a look
Morrison.
at the podcast on that one.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Also about the kind of vegetation that we have. We've got the wrong kind of trees, that we should be encouraging the rainforest vegetation, not so much the eucalypts.
So we do a video version of it, which is on the YouTube channel for everyone. Just search the Jim's Cast or Jim's Group page, plus Facebook, and it's also downloadable on iTunes and Spotify. We're getting a little bit better with them now, I reckon. They're sort of picking up a bit. I've got a few comments in here saying, the Jim's Cast give me way more motivation through my day. Keep it upcoming. That's great from Jared Bywaters, who is a franchisee. We've got someone here as well saying something about, who's a non-Jim's person, saying about the podcast, which is great from Harrison Toff. Hi, Jim, coming from Instagram. Doing the Jim's Cast really connects and engages with a wider audience. I think that the connection with business and people is really good. Also, would there be a potential that Jim's Group creates a polo-style work shirt like what the franchisees wear, maybe a different pattern to separate workers and fans? I would get one for sure.
Yeah.
So we have dabbled in merchandise a little bit with the T-shirts and that.
We just have to be careful people don't represent themselves as us.
That's the problem with
that's an issue. It's got to be clearly something that it's not us.
That's why we sort of try and do caps and T-shirts as well, sort of a bit more.
Yeah.
It's not sort of the worker. It's a bit of a fine line, Harrison, if we do a polo with a Jim's Division shirt. It's sort of one of those things. But you can get bucket hats and stuff on the website. So we'll keep going here with another question, which is from Sam. Where is Sam in the audience? Sam is over there.
Hi, Jim. Mine is, I just want to ask you, how do you think the world is going to end?
How do you think the world is going to end?
The world is going to end. Well, I think in about 4 billion years' time, the sun's going to run out of fuel and it'll expand, turn to a red giant, and go past and Earth will be swallowed by it. That's my theory.
Very logical theory, that one.
Well, that's not something you worry about immediately. As far as our civilization is concerned, it's a lot more vulnerable than we think. But that won't be the end of the world. That's the end of technological civilization. I think we're very vulnerable. Things like EMPs, biological warfare. It's far more of a problem than people think. And I think everybody should prepare, have some food storage and so forth.
We spoke about that last week, a year in advance for some.
Yeah.
Some people of certain faith, they have a year in advance.
Everybody should have a year's supply of food tucked away.
Have you seen that show Doomsday Preppers? Remember that YouTube link I sent you? How the people go out of control with that sort of notion. They might send 4 years worth of food and they have all these traps set up and all that sort of stuff.
It's very sensible. People will insure their house against fire, but they won't insure their families against starvation. Why not? And it doesn't take much. You just buy some food and you just eat it and you replace it. It's not even expensive to do it. It's a good system.
So you have a year's worth of food at your house at the moment?
Yeah.
Really? Where is it stored? Because I've been there a few times. Where do you put it?
Well, up at my farm, of course.
Oh, it's on the farm, right?
Yeah. And I can also grow my own food. I've got this huge corn patch and potatoes and stuff. I can actually grow a lot of my own food.
Like the zombies, you're prepared to fight off the zombies when they...
Absolutely.
All right, there we go.
Plenty of sharpened stakes.
You want me to be a pitchfork man, or what would you use?
Yeah.
All right, we've got a few more questions and comments coming here, which is great. So we'll get to all these once tonight, which is going to be awesome. Someone's gone here. The Jim's email system also appears to be down. Yes, it will be. Matthew, unfortunately, is connected to the server. Eugene is all over it. Don't worry about that. He's 24/7, and he'll get a good job to get it fixed.
He is too. Something goes wrong at midnight on Christmas Day. Eugene's there.
He doesn't want to be there, but he is there.
He's a fanatic. He's great, Eugene. He really is.
That's very, very true. So Cody Ralston...
He raps me over the knuckles if I click on the wrong link or something like that. He goes, you bad boy, Jim. And
we do. We have
we have the wall of shame.
That's it. So
I've been on it a couple of times too. So you learn in gyms not to open strange stuff because it's probably Eugene.
We have phishing emails, so obviously people clicking a lot of things, and we had a Russian crypto virus once and stuff up all our computers, which is why we run a strict thing like that.
And I was one of the idiots who actually clicked on it. So.
That's true. That's what it's there for to do. Then we put your name on the fridge, so wall of shame, and you have Jim Penman up there. That'd be number one for a while. I will keep going. So Cody Ralston's gone, Joel, asked Jim if he would be interested in sponsoring a trading game team. Serious request. A trading card team, sorry.
Trading card.
The reason why I asked this one, because we've obviously got Monopoly coming out, end of April.
Oh, I think it's about putting up the... If it's good PR for the company, it can be paid for by the branding fund.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have a look at it.
Trading card. I don't know what trading games they would play.
No, I don't know. But anything spread Jim's around. We've had a great response to Monopoly, Jim's Monopoly.
We have, yeah.
We've got how many pre-orders have we got?
I think 65-ish or around about that at the moment, which is good.
I reckon. I've talked to a lot of people who want to buy a copy.
Because it won't be ready until end of April, so to get payments already for something early, it's only $60. Most custom
That's
Monopoly...
if you order in advance.
Yes, $70 after that, but most custom Monopoly games, so AFL clubs do them, sporting teams do it, cities do it around $90, $85.
We are definitely getting one for our house, I tell you what. I reckon the beach house should have one too.
Now, what people don't know is actually you wrote the cards, you wrote it all up.
Yeah, I wrote that.
4 pages in what, 1 hour, I reckon you wrote it. It was the most productive thing I've ever seen you do in terms of writing something down.
This is very funny. This is how this guy speaks to me. No wonder I insult him. The most productive thing he's ever heard me do is write up some stupid Monopoly game. I mean,
well, you did.
That really tells me how my staff have a good opinion of me, doesn't it?
You did it in you had the whole thing written up in less than an hour, 4 pages worth. So actually, if you do play Monopoly, it's Jim himself.
I got the board out and had a look at it, and I just copied it and put all the different divisions in, and wrote all the cards, chance and community system equivalent, which is customer service and business success.
So not only do you get a Jim's Monopoly, it's actually written by Jim himself.
Written by Jim.
So it's actually very true.
We haven't got a outline for that yet. Have we got a picture done yet?
No, we've got to give him the graphics and stuff like that, and Jake and the boys and Ben will
work
work on that. Not yet.
When's that going to be done?
Soon. Yeah.
Not like soon. When?
I'll give you a date at this stage.
Pressure's on. No, we'll make sure.
I want to see that. I've had the divisions wanting to be. They've offered to pay us to promote.
I remember getting that email. They don't have to pay us. It's all
right.
right.
Don't pay us. No. If you're a big division, you'll get mentioned.
We're going to try and make the board as equitable as we can on the cover and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to try and... I'm very conscious of multiple divisions. So.
We've got 14 different divisions. All our 14 divisions are all very strongly represented. And we've got little...
Well, that's the ones with more than 50, let's say 50 franchise owners, right?
That's right, yeah.
But there'll be some mentions and some placements for if we're not on there, we can get them on the back and all that sort of stuff. So we are conscious of that as well. And we'll put all this stuff in. So everyone's saying hi in the live feed, which is great. In the comments, please leave in the Jim's Bit 1 and hopefully give you a prize at the end.
But look, trading cards is not a bad idea, actually. If anybody wants to put that forward, I don't even know what it is. But if there's a business that we can run and people...
I think I want to sponsor their team. So they have a team where they do trading card games. Might be a poker team, I don't know. It could be whatever. We'll see what they send through.
Oh, I don't know. I thought that was like the same thing where you could...
We've had a few esports requests. We have occasionally a kid every couple of weeks who say, will you sponsor my esports team? You like your video games. No? No more? You don't like your video games? You play your games.
I like video games.
Yes.
I actually had Mark from the office fix up one of my video games, Conquest. It wasn't working properly, so I'm taking shameless advantage of my position for private gain.
Yeah, it's a misuse of resources, isn't it?
Absolute terrible misuse of resources. I'm ashamed of myself.
That might be why the servers went down. Mark was pulled away.
I'm sure it was. Everything's been siphoned off to my personal use.
That's true. So we've got a lot of people leaving questions and comments here. So where is Amric? This is another question from the audience. Amric, sorry if I pronounce this wrong. Amric? Yeah. So your question is...
There's another guy with a great beard. We are thinking of making it a policy for every Jim's franchisee to wear a beard. And I know it's very hard, especially for the women, but I think it should happen. Amric's good stuff.
Hi, Jay. I want to know what's the secret of your success?
I'm passionate about service, genuinely really love giving service, hate poor service, and I change all the time, which drives people mad, but I'm always looking for the next thing. How do I do it better? How do I do it better? If you get those two things right, you'll tend to do very well. Never be satisfied, never, with being good enough.
We have a lot of good business advice on YouTube as well, Amric. If you go there, there's all these heaps of content with Jim with multiple clips of business advice and all that sort of stuff as well. So we have to do another question here from Rod, from the people in the audience here. So where's Rod? Question like this one.
Jim, have you ever considered a career in politics?
Yes. At times I have, actually. I wouldn't mind standing for the Senate, if anything. I reckon cross-bench Senate is going to have a big impact. I actually think the political system is... I would describe myself as a populist more than anything else. I think the political system really favours elites. Now, whether they're business elites or whether they're inner city greenie elites or, union bosses and so forth, I think it really screws ordinary people in so many different ways. And there's many different policies that could be used to make Australia fairer than it is. We are too unequal as a society. There's entrenched privilege all over the place. And I see it all the time. I have made a try at starting the book. In fact, if you read my book, the book about Catherine Mullenshot, I think it's called The Jim's Book.
The one here. So
That
actually,
one
I'm going to
there.
give away a couple of these as well.
It's got a lot of my political ideas in that, and they are but that's the kind of thing. If I could push our politics in the direction of being a bit better for ordinary people, I'd like to do that.
We do a lot of content as that as well. So, Jim, you expand on your views in a lot of the podcasts as well, so you can tune them down. What's wrong with franchising, about the political stuff.
Yeah.
We touched on it a bit last week.
And why we should be having eBay judges.
eBay justice, yeah.
eBay justice and quite a few really strange ideas, but all look from the same point of view.
It's a great question. That's a change of view recently. You've said I would love to do the Senate, or considering the Senate. You would consider it, because you said you would flat out refuse it a while ago. So you're thinking about it.
I always think of these things.
Yeah. Have your own party? Jim's party?
No, just be me.
Just be you, Jim Penman, okay.
Everybody wanted to ride on my coattails, I suppose, but it's pretty unlikely I'll get into Parliament, seriously.
You never know. You never know.
The Senate is strange. You can put all kinds of oddballs into the Senate. I mean, really.
That's very true.
But they have a big say. If you were the Senate, the senator that was needed to get through something, and you can just say, okay, but do this, have this particular policy that really would help ordinary people.
So we've got a lot of questions coming through on the live feed now and other feeds as well, which is great. So make sure you share and you hit like on the Jim's Group 1 to go on the draw for the voucher. We've got a question here from Glenn Sharp. He says, hi Jim, how many services do you have at the moment?
How many services?
Yeah, I know the service code amount, which is a bit different. Something to clarify that one.
Well, there's about 54 divisions, but there's probably, how many services?
There's 588 service codes.
588 service codes, so a lot of services. See, a lot of those services, you get a lawn mowing guy, but they can do landscaping and gutter clearing and they can install sprinklers and they can do drainage systems and they can, what do you call it, rotary hose, and you can do all kinds of stuff. So in actual fact, the range of services we offer is quite vast. The biggest problem we've got is not so much we don't have enough services, we don't have enough people to handle the demand for the services we've got. Like fencing, for example, is 60% unserviced. Have you got any fencing guys here? I was speaking to somebody today. That's a great business.
Yeah, Sammy's fencing.
You got fencing in there? Great, fencing is...
So we were talking about that.
Plenty of work from day one.
That's all right. We're trying to persuade him to put on a whole lot of workers and use up some of these unserviced leads. It's a great business if you want to build a major business.
But I think it's like with people don't realise we've got 588 services that we can do, and something we're probably going to push a lot more this year, because generally we promote divisions, but no one knows what a division is really outside the group. So the 588 service codes, when someone rings up, we do have someone to do something. And obviously contract work now, commercial work, obviously that's what we want to promote moving forward as well. We've got the Australia-wide solution, so you can have a handyman and tender guy, dog wash. Let's say if it's an aged care facility, all do the one thing. So we're hoping to definitely push that one there. So let's keep going with the questions and comments that are coming through the live feed. So we've got one, Vicky Sherman. How would the bushfires devastation affect your business for franchisees in those areas?
Well, a lot of our guys are actually off fighting the fires. We've suspended a few fees because they're actually firefighters. The fires themselves don't have a huge effect, but the drought certainly does. We've actually got some regions, especially in New South Wales, where they've actually cut the fees by 25% to give the franchisees a better go, because they're really struggling in those areas. That's the biggest effect. But in actual fact, Jim's guys can do a lot about fires, because if your house is fire prone, obviously, things like clearing out the gutters, cutting long grass, removing rubbish, all those kind of things is pretty basic and obvious stuff to be done. So
it's been a troubling time, and a lot of the franchisees have been affected, but we do have a lot in the CFA and the New South Wales equivalent, Queensland equivalent.
A lot of our franchisees are concerned with helping out. They really are. They're a great bunch of people. There's so many of them are actually volunteering in ways, and we really take our hat off for them. We want to support them in every way possible. A lot of them are raising funds for the effort, all kinds of stuff.
There's lots of stuff going on. So make sure everyone, if you're leaving a comment or question or like a share on the live feed tonight, you get a chance to win a $250 voucher, and we'll pick one from the questions here. So I want to go to one here from Steph. Where is Steph? Steph's in Jim's Dog Wash.
In New Zealand.
And NZ.
What I want to know is, in your over 30 years
in this business, what's your most memorable moment? If you had to pick one.
Meeting my wife. Not in business terms, but it probably was a very good business move in actual fact, because Lee has been wonderful to help me out. I get a great kick out of, actually one of my most fun things is getting a response from people who've been going 1 month. I send out an email and they come back and say how well they've done. I love that. Also, when I sit down and ring people who've done 10, 15, 20 years, I do that regularly just to ring them up and thank them and congratulate them. And it's really great to hear that sort of stuff. To hear people who've done well, people who say to me how their life is so much better because of gyms. That's a fantastic reward.
That's a great question. Thanks for that one there. So there's heaps of people leaving comments and questions on live feed. I'm not ignoring you. I just can't get to them all. I want to give priority to the new franchisees who are here as well. Next week as well, we obviously answer as much as we can. So here's another one, Jim, that was submitted via Ask Jim website during the week. So if you definitely want your question answered, go to gyms.net, Ask Jim. There's a box there, fill it in. So this was from Rocky. Does Jim still remember his first customer? And does he still have any contact? Have you ever considered doing a This Is Your Life with Jim Penman?
Well, my first customer was Mr. Tapley, who was across our back fence when I was 8 years old. And I don't think he's still alive. So he must be about 110 by now if he's still around.
Have to be a medical marvel if he's still going. So.
But I had some, back when I was gardening, I used to have, I had some wonderful customers when I was gardening and mowing lawns in the very early days. I can remember this old lady who used to, I used to love going to see her. She used to know Bob Menzies when he was young and describe what sort of person he was. So it was kind of like reaching across history. And she used to give me tea and some nice biscuits, and we just chat about things. A lot of great customers.
What about This Is Your Lifestyle show with you? How would you think that would go down? You know that old Mike Munro, get him out?
Well, I'm so old. Most of the people I knew in my days are dead, for heaven's sake, so I don't think it's much of a... You have a whole bunch of corpses there, so it wouldn't...
There you go, there's a blunt enough answer.
We'll down so well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we get through a lot of the comments and questions on live feed. Now, we're not ignoring, just wanted to treat the people here with their questions as priority, and the ones who submitted them via first. So Eric Jurgens, who always tunes in every week, goes, hey guys, nice to see you on a Tuesday. The downside is, though, that my fish and chip shop is closed Mondays and Tuesdays. Very interesting piece on the current affair last night about franchisees.
Fish and chips will go very well with your hot chocolate, Eric. Just don't drink the coffee because it's not good for you.
That's true. So Eric's from Jim's Mobile Cafe and he watches every week on a Wednesday with fish and chips, and we've wrecked his routine again and he lets us know about it all the time. Very interesting piece on the current affair last night about franchisees and how they have been treated by the Coffee Club and Domino's Pizza. It has now gone to the federal court. Yeah. So it just shows how important it is to do your research
I cannot
first.
believe the scumbags out there, and I don't know what to say. I'd like to start Jim's Legal, and one of the things we'd love to do is to represent some franchisees against the scumbags who do things like this. It's awful.
I think it's happening, isn't it?
They rip them off blind. They just look at what's good for me, and they don't give a stuff how badly people are hurt. People who lose their life savings. And you know, you think of somebody who runs something like a Domino's as being rich, but they're not really. They're struggling people who've mortgaged their house. They're working ridiculous hours, and they got some... I don't want to use rude words, but somebody comes along and just says, I can make a few more dollars out of you and be bloated with you, go bust and lose everything. It's horrible. Mm. I really think the law should change. I put all kinds of proposals in which nobody ever listens to about giving real protection. Really what should happen is that the law should give the same protection to all franchisees as we give to ours, like vetoing changes to the manual. That's a simple thing, an absolute right of renewal of a contract. What's unfair about that? It works fine for us. It doesn't hurt us at all commercially. Why can't that be the law of the land? Mm. You know, laws against putting up you're renting, you're leasing unreasonably beyond the rate of inflation, beyond the rate of the market, just shoving up the leashes, demanding all sorts of changes that are expensive and unfair, just treating people like dirt. It shouldn't be possible. The law should protect people from this, and all they do is they write more and more complex law, which helps. It's a breeding ground for lawyers. And most people can't afford lawyers because it's too expensive, and the whole justice system is so stacked against ordinary people in favour of the wealthy. So the law ought to change. I don't think it will, because I think basically to a large extent this is a country run by elites for elites, but it should. And
you always do the submission, don't you? When they ask for an
I
inquiry
always
to
do it. I
franchise, you
go
always
and
do the
talk to them.
submission.
I say what should happen. Look, even simple things like if you should have somebody who is paid for by the franchisor every year they actually contact all the franchisees in the country and do a report and ask them how they've been treated confidentially. Franchisor will not know. The same thing we do every year ourselves. And they should do that, and they should make that public. And everybody who wants to buy a franchise must be shown this list. So if you stuff your franchisees around and you treat them like dirt, then it's going to be shown, and you'll see it. And those people will be driven out of business. And ethical, decent franchisors, and there are a lot around, can flourish and prosper. That even a simple thing like that, which I've asked for years and years and years, they just don't do it. Then they won't do it. No money for lawyers, only good for the prospects. So who cares?
Thanks for that question, Eric. Very pointed one. And if you heard Jim's response, we do have a podcast with What's Wrong with Franchising, we called it as well, for around half an hour, where Jim goes in detail on that.
I play off the handle on that one.
That's true. Joel Ryan's gone here. Give Mike Davenport a plug for his training, but don't tell him I'm giving him the plug. Well, I just did. I'm one of Mike's franchisees. I'm a franchisee mowing in Canberra and strongly recommend anyone to go into business, even if not Jim's, to do the training course. It's so great and good. Good job, Mike Davenport. So I shouldn't have told him his name, but Mike, who does a great job at the training, who's up the back. I'm sure that everyone comes through the training here. They all have rave reviews about Mike. I've never heard not one bad thing said about.
Oh, I've heard plenty of bad things about Mike. I tell you, there's so many bad things. I can tell you stories for the cows coming about Mike, couldn't I? Isn't that right?
He's a great operator. I don't think we can find anyone better.
He's a good trainer, actually. He keeps our trainees in stitches. Isn't that right? Yeah, he's a good entertainer. And he does occasionally put some useful information out as well.
Well, just like all our trainers, all the trainers who go, people might not realise they've all been franchisees, or they're currently a franchisor. Like, they've been doing what you're doing. They've been in your position. Yes. So that's all really practical advice. It's no one external. It's always people from within gyms.
We don't have a lot of suits in gyms. There's people who know what they're about from the word go and come up through the system. That's the ideal for us, always.
Hato is saying he's got any great info and advice. Keep up the good work. For people who don't know Hato is our gym's cleaning divisional and has the biggest one in Australia. So servers are back to normal as well, guys.
After mowing, thank you.
For cleaning franchise. But he went there mowing one day, you never know. I predict it will happen.
You think he's going to beat mowing?
Dream
on, Hater. No way.
It will happen. One day, we'll see. So Mark Saddington's gone, hi Jim, with climate change being a big issue at the moment, what is the gyms group doing to lower their carbon footprint? That's a really good question, that one.
Yeah, well, actually, one of the things we're doing is we're trying to get our franchisees to go electric solar. We've got this new trailer that's just been designed. It's out there being trialled right now, which actually has a solar panel on the roof and a charging pack system. And what happens is you take an electric machinery out, like an electrical mower, which is really good, really quiet, low maintenance, and you just and while you're mowing the lawns, the battery is charging the next the solar power is charging the next battery. So you can actually, and then there's signs on it about gyms going green and stuff. So you can actually have zero carbon emissions from the mowing lawns, which is also quiet too. It's an advantage. So we're really pushing that very, very hard. I'd love to be out everybody having electric cars too, but it's not quite there commercially yet. But it's coming. It's coming. I can't wait to have an electric car. And personally, I mean, again, there's a blog on this one, but I've got a 100-acre farm which I'm planting out as a food forest, and we are doing everything possible for the environment, all organic, growing trees instead of getting rid of the cattle. Just really good for the environment. We've got to look after our country better, our world better. That's for sure.
And we hope other divisions besides mowing as well can reduce their carbon footprint. I know cleaning has those environmentally friendly cleaning products.
Vegan.
They are vegan friendly. They put that, it's on the bottle. They're vegan friendly. Trust me, they're environmentally friendly cleaning products. They're really good.
But
that's one example of it.
Enzyme clean.
Yeah. So when you spray, it keeps eating away and working away for weeks. On the end. So.
But not the surface. Just the dirt.
Just the dirt.
That sounds pretty bad. It sounds like something corrosive, like
no, they're not corrosive. I know because there's sometimes problems with using the wrong chemicals and that. But cleaning is a good example. I know there's other divisions who are doing things.
I know they have problems. Like with one franchisee used oven cleaner to clean the benches.
Yeah, that's
massive claim.
We do have an internal insurance brokerage. People don't know who do handle the claims, and you get personally involved in some claims, don't you?
I do too, and it's painful when you see people doing things like that. So they try and say use the good stuff, the environmentally friendly, good for services, good for the environment. That's what you've got to use.
A lot of divisions will do that way, and we'll hopefully change signage as well, especially with the Going Green trailer with the Ego stuff. Got another comment here. I like the Total Green Ego Chevron Gym's trailer that you've created, battery-powered equipment to lower carbon footprint. That's exactly.
Also, Gym's Energy, don't forget too. We've got solar panels here, and we've got all of our LED lights and everything else. I love to be completely carbon neutral. That'd be fantastic. Down the track of it. I'd love to do it at home, my home next door, but there's too many trees and all that cut down gum trees, so it's hard.
A few people were saying about the echo on the comments for the camera. Hopefully the boys have got that and did that there regarding those questions.
The guys are loving them actually. They reckon they're really good. They're actually mowing lawns all day and it's all powered by the solar. It's actually quite practical and they're great machines. I love solar machinery. I love battery powered machinery. I use it to mow my lawns up at my farm and it's fantastic stuff. You just pull this and it starts. If you're going over a gravel pathway, you just let it go and it stops. The blade stops.
Well, the good thing about it is actually in the cage in the trailer, rather than with a traditional mower, you can't put it on its side, right? All the stuff will fly. You can actually put 3 of them in the side there, and you go one head after the other. They're not too bad. So
it really freaks out the mowing franchisees because you get it and you turn it on its side. Oh, I can't do that because
right.
You're so used to. But battery mower, it doesn't matter what side you put it upside down. Doesn't matter.
No, we're definitely looking forward to pushing that. The content with you actually, you're going to be involved in it. Will come out hopefully start of February, around about that. Yeah. We're going to do a day in the field. We did do it before, but we've got to adjust a few things there. So we've got a few people commenting and questioning on the live feed,
you can be very
great.
green in your way of doing things. See, one thing I would suggest to anybody, if you want to go green, why don't you dig up your lawn and plant vegetables and fruit trees and stuff? Jim's guys can do that kind of stuff too. It's not just it doesn't stop them having a job, but we can do really good things with gardens to make them much more environmentally friendly, and also better use of water and so forth. There's a lot of different things you can do on a small scale to help the environment, even around your home.
That's a lot of divisions, and the plans to get multiple divisions doing their initiative, and then we put it on the website, the Going Green thing, and we have all the divisions and what they're doing to try and for their division. So we're looking forward to seeing what divisionals come up with this year. So Andrew Rossett has gone, can we win a Jim's Monopoly? Yes, there'll be run some Jim's Monopoly prizes when that's closer to the date event. We'll do some giveaways with that. Marco Gose has gone, Jim, will you do Movember this year? So we've done Movember in the past in 2011, 2012 as a group, but I don't know how it would go. What do you reckon? You could grow one back or no?
I think you'd be invisible now, my hair, so...
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. We'd look at this.
I know the franchisees in the past did, and they mowed the world's largest mustache out near Tyler Marine Airport. There's a whole video if you see that one.
They did one where they pushed a lawnmower all the way from the southern end of Tasmania up to Queensland.
Yeah, it's like a lawnmower replay. Yeah, definitely from
relay. Yeah.
They went and passed it on. It was quite funny. A lot of good publicity there. Someone's gone, he'd be a magistrate already, Jim. So, all right, let's keep going here. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to read through the comments here. Let me just have a look here. We'll get to one here. Sorry guys, live feed questions are great. I'm just trying to go through them because there's a lot of people leaving them to just try and filter some. Do you get a lot of people that try and take advantage of Jim's insurance, as in dramatising damage, etc., that Jim can see right through?
Oh yes,
that's a good question. We haven't had that one before.
Yeah. People say the customer is always right. I say garbage. The customer is very frequently wrong. Not usually when they've got a problem. But very often people try and take advantage of us. We had some awful things. We had a case just recently where somebody I mentioned this last week, there's all these scratches on a wooden floor.
No, you don't mention that one.
And they tried to claim it was the bucket that the cleaning guy was pulling. It's just impossible. How could you possibly do that kind of damage? And then they changed the story and said it was they moved a chair. But you could see really deep scratches, the whole series on. There's no way that was possible. So, yeah, we do have that. People do take advantage of it. And they threaten to put us on social media. I say, well, blow you, go and do it. I try to be more tactful than that, but that's the attitude. Otherwise, people will try and rip us off, and I'm bloated by having my franchisees.
Well, the franchisee has to be offered a chance to go out and rectify it, and then we have an independent party if it doesn't solve it out and go.
Yeah, but these ones are talking about damage.
Yeah, sure.
We actually had a case where the a client claimed that the carpet guy had wrecked the carpet. They wanted a whole new carpet for their house, and we got an expert to have a look at it, and they said there's no possible way that the machine that the guy was using, which they knew what it was, could have done this damage. And this person took it to VCAT to actually sue, and we went along to support the franchisee, and some idiot of a magistrate gave him $2,000, which of course only a fraction of what they're asking for. Well, the warranty fund paid for it because the franchisee had done nothing wrong. So if the franchisee's in the right, we will support them 100%. And sometimes clients do take advantage of it. They think because of our brand, we will do everything possible to look after a genuine problem, no matter how much it costs. But if it's clearly somebody trying to rip us off, take advantage of us, we will not give in to that.
So I've got a question here from one of the live feed where Nectar goes, what training and how long do you train someone who has no gardening experience and wants to buy a Jim's Mowing franchise in general? So let's play it's a training question in general, because a lot of people might go, I might not be, I don't know, I like the sounds of that, but what's the training involved?
The training is 3 days generic training and 3 days specific divisional training, things like landscaping and pesticides and fertilising and plants and this kind of stuff too. The funny thing about it is that the success is much more to do with the business. I've never known any franchisee to fail because they didn't know how to prune a rose. But franchisees fail all the time because they fail to ring clients back or turn up on time, or they just do a shoddy halfway job and they have a habit of it and they do it badly. So business training is actually far more important. It's not that difficult to learn the basics. And of course the thing about learning, you'll spend 3 days learning the basics, but also there's ongoing training, and there's meetings that are held every 6 weeks, and then there's talking to your franchisor regularly and getting to know your fellow franchisees. So the learning never stops. A good business should always learn, and I'm learning still. I've been in business for, half a century now, really, in effect, and I'm still learning new stuff every day. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to keep on learning.
Now, with that one as well, not only mowing, but other the divisions, so you might have to turn on pest control, they do full courses, they do certificates. Any division other than mowing, let's say they all have their own separate individual divisional training.
Cleaning does two days.
Yeah. Dog wash have courses for groomings and all master
Test and Tag has a 3-week training course, which
is
really, really good. Fencing, it's 8 weeks practical experience. They're very good, very practical courses. They've been designed not by government bureaucrats, but by people who are actually in the industry and know what you need to know to be successful.
Yeah, and they had the support of the other franchisees. So a lot of times they go to a job they don't know about. They either ring their franchisor or a fellow franchisee who can help them out. A lot of them do that in the first couple of years until they're on their feet. Or some people come with a previous business experience and just go bang and away they go. So it all depends, but there's training provided no matter what service what you're interested in. So get to a couple more questions coming through on the live feed. So Alan, who's Jim's personal training, our first franchisee, I recognise him from his little photo there, goes, "Hi Jim. Jim, you've probably been asked this a million times. What does your daily routine look like and your daily non-negotiables?"
Exercise. I love to get exercise every day. I'm not as good.
So what do you do for the exercise? What type of exercise?
Well, I'll play squash sometimes if I can. I find a person put up with me.
Yeah.
I run on the treadmill half an hour. That's the minimum. I work on my farm. That's the minimum. So exercise is part of it. I almost always have oatmeal for breakfast, which I think is really nice, very healthy breakfast. I spend a lot of time answering emails. Every franchisee in Jim's group's got my personal email, and by cheapest they take advantage of it, which is good. I look through almost all the complaints every day and look at them and see what I can do about them. I delete complaints that are unfair, try and work out better ways, just meet with people. Just a whole variety of stuff. It's a very fun life. It's just really, really good. I just do a whole lot of different things every day. And it's all with the idea, how can we improve things? How can we do things better?
And Alan's going to be a PT, Jim's personal training, so he's the first franchisee in that division.
Which is great. I love fitness. I think fitness is one of the greatest things. And it's one of the good great things about being a lawn mowing franchisee too. It's a very healthy job. It's one of the highest satisfaction jobs in the world. Florists up there too. Lawyers are at the bottom.
That's very true, and I did a law degree too. But
you showed the good sense not to be a lawyer.
That's very true. I did. From listening to you and Mel enough bag lawyers, it didn't give me a bit more like that. So Mark Jose's gone, Jim, what are you doing?
If everyone hears some lawyer jokes, I know plenty.
That's very true. Jim, what are you doing about the drought affected areas when mowing franchisees lose clients? We've had that question a couple of times tonight already. So when they lose clients in their drought affected area.
Well, like I said, we've been in some cases we've been reducing their fees. But the other thing too is that drought's a problem, but drought's also an opportunity. Because if you've got a drought affected area, you don't want to waste water. So putting mulch on the garden beds is a great idea.
Well, you started in a drought, didn't you?
My first business, when I started full-time back in 1982, I hit the worst drought in Melbourne history within a few days of starting. And I hardly mowed a lawn for 2 months, but I kept really busy. And just did gardening and other things too. Drought's an opportunity as well as you just got to be flexible. The best franchisees are not the ones who just do the basic job, like they go out and mow lawns all the time. That's all they do. The ones who look for other opportunities, look for gutter clearing, look for gardening, look for clearing blackberries, look for taking rubbish away, look for banging a fence post back, look for changing light bulbs, look for washing windows, anything at all. You can just look around. Once you've got the contact with the client, what else can you do for them? That applies to every division. There's always extra things you can do. You're washing dogs. You can sell stuff. You can do all kinds of things.
And there's cross-divisional. If they're insured and they're properly trained, they can do the cross-divisional.
Yes. Yeah, and we help and encourage that too. Because we've got 170 plus thousand unserviced leads last year. So even if your division is quiet, what else is there to do? Could you be a handyman? Little bit of upgrade to your insurance maybe, and then go out and take unserviced handyman jobs, for example.
There's a lot of good comments and questions coming through, and we hope those in Drought can get through it. It's a tough time as well with the bushfires and everything. So Eric's gone here. I thought that you might be interested to know that both Michael and Ricky from Jim's Dog Wash are doing free dog washes for a fundraiser for Blaze Aid. They go and rebuild fences for the fire-affected farmers, which is a very practical solution. It will be held on Sunday, February 16, 1 to 5 p.m. Such a good gesture from these two that will have 2 dog wash trailers there helping out. There's also been many dog wash franchisees I have seen on the page as well offering free washes to dogs in those areas as well. There's been other franchisees doing lots of things. Guys driving around waters, there's been heaps of stuff going back to December when it's sort of first kicking off.
I don't think we've ever had such an outpouring of help from our franchisees. All kinds of ways, practical, fundraising, everything. They've really been a great bunch.
Yeah, and I was surprised about the sheer number of people involved in their local fire.
The only other thing that gets our people equally concerned is mental illness. That's a very big topic for us because it affects so many of our people in one way or another.
So there's a mentors list as well, we should point out. I know that we had someone say they weren't made aware of it, but there is a mentors list available via Gyms Online.
Yes.
Yep. So maybe just tell people a little bit about that.
People who volunteer just to help out. They're not psychologists, they're just franchisees who want to lend an ear to anybody who's got a problem, which all arose out of that terrible thing that happened in Perth the year before last. But it's people who volunteer just to give up their time for no reason. There's a lot of good stuff going on in gyms you don't hear about. Just decent people helping others. We're very community minded in a sense. I think you find that kind of characteristic of gyms. Maybe it's part of the culture, I don't know. But extraordinary number of our franchisees actually are out there doing really great things.
I think when we interview people, once they start, they always say it's the support or being the mateship or having to call up someone or the meetings. They really like that aspect because if you're in business by yourself,
and they work together. Actually, they get groups together in an area, and they get these ideas and these initiatives and put them together. So we're hearing lots of stuff about that.
There's a few good comments and questions coming. You're not ignoring, you just can't get through all of them. But Craig Watson's gone, bring on Jim's Jobs. So Jim's Jobs is obviously one of your definitely passions at the moment, which is
that would
really
be
fortunate.
so wonderful. Yeah. It'll really, really cut down our time spent and be so efficient.
And Matthew Diagons was wondering why my 1 month email from Jim was just found at Christmas Day at 7:09am. Don't know how I missed it, just replied, PS server is back up. Yes, emails are back up for everyone. All the Gyms Online stuff is going back up there. There's a lot of questions and comments here, and someone's gone, can we buy small Gyms Group stickers anywhere? You can buy Gyms stickers online, but they're not from us. There's a Gyms memeing page which has stickers for sale, like Gyms, whatever, party supplies or whatever, so you can buy some funny ones. We've seen Gyms bush bashing. There's a lot of funny stickers running around. We don't mind it. As long as they're in good taste, it's all good as well. So what we're going to do now, Jim, is we've got some serious prizes to award now. So from this list of 10, I'll give you a read of them now as we go through them. From this list of 10, who do you want to give one of the $250 vouchers through? People watching the live stream will try and go through a comment or question and award to someone from there. Then everyone who's liked the live stream tonight and shared it, you're going to a draw for next week at random, and we'll pick that out. So 2 chances here now. So it's a $250 voucher for any Gyms Group service on anything.
I like Gyms Gigolos. I mean, really.
I thought I had a bit of it. So for those watching at home, would you do Gyms Gigolos as 1? Believe it or not, I didn't even know I was going to read it out, but I've read it out, and that's 1. So we'll give that 1 there, and that's to our front row. That's Eddie. That's a good gutsy question. I didn't know how that was go, but that's definitely 1 there.
And if we do start, we'll call upon you as the first potential franchisee.
Division 55, Club 55. There you go. All right, so we've got another one here. So any comment or question on the live stream or something that I read out to you that resonated with you as well, that you thought for the second voucher, or even it can be another one from here. It's up to you.
What do you people think? What do you think is a good question that came through the live stream?
What was something that maybe you didn't think Jim would answer, or what was something, guys? Anything that resonates with you?
I thought the insurance one was pretty good.
Well, the insurance one maybe, yeah. There's a few comments here now. Obviously we can't have any dead air, so we're going to keep talking, so we'll keep going. But what ones do we want to go for? So we've got Eric, we've got Cody, we had Matt Dwyer, Alan Milnick, Jim's personal training, someone challenge you a personal squash game. Which one do you want to give it to, Jim? Leave a comment or question on the live stream. I want to try and give it to someone who's a first-time commenter, because I think that's what we want to do.
Just give me some questions.
All right. So
what were they about?
The political one?
They were...
Yeah. The political one. All right, so that's from someone in the audience here.
Yeah.
So we'll give that one as a political one, which I'll get to it here.
But we've already got somebody in the audience sitting a voucher. Aren't we going to give somebody from the live?
Well, live, yeah, we can sort of do that. But we'll do one from the live, and I'll give you a bit of a hand. Someone who left it on here, which I liked. They talked about the ego trailer. Got you to talk about the ego one,
a good one.
which was Mark Saddington, which was the climate change What are you doing to lower your carbon
I
footprint?
think that's a great one. I love environmental.
He's in the audience, so he listened to me. He listened to me at the start, and he left it in the. Nah, that was the thing. Leave it in the comments or the questions on the live stream, so that's fine. So we got your name here. The next week, so what we're going to do is one of those $250 vouchers. If you'd like the live stream tonight or done a share, we're actually going to do a draw next week. So you have to be tuning in, comment in there, and we'll give it to you. Now these 2 books, Jim, I didn't tell you this, but we're going to give away 2 of these books here because we always do every week. So we always give away Jim's books. Now we're going to give away this one here. So this is what Jim referred to before. It's a great biography done on Jim, which is the new one. This is the one you have to pay for. So you get this one for free and for signed. So this is the one you have to pay for. Now, was there any other thing, any comment or question that maybe, the political one maybe that was left, that was good? That was from someone in the audience there. So we'll give that one there to Rod. That was about the politics one, which said got you to say you run for the Senate. So we'll give that one. Would you consider a career in politics?
Well, yeah, if you like.
Okay, all right, we'll give that one to Rod. I'll just make the call on that one. It's supposed to be Jim. Now, was there anything else that you wanted to, any resonate with you? We'll give one more. We had a few comments and questions coming in here on the live feed, so...
I obviously... But that's Steve Walker.
You can't give one to Steve, no. So there's a few ones. Cody, which asked about sponsoring trading card game. We had Eric Jurgens always asked a few questions, but I think Eric's got all the books already.
Actually, was that Rocky?
That was Rocky.
Our Rocky.
Our Rocky asked that question about the your first client and would you do a This Is Your Life?
Well, that's interesting, wasn't it?
All right, well, it makes it easier for me because I don't have to post it out, so we can do that one there. All right, we'll get that one to Rocky there. So we'll leave it there, guys. So thanks to everyone who came and watched there tonight on a Tuesday night. I know it's a great weather and we appreciate you giving up your time. Every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock we do this, so if you do want to ask him a question, rather than an emailing, we do have a lot of franchisees who leave comments and questions on there for you, and you can always submit one anonymously via gyms.net via the hashtag AskJim if you want to as well. But please feel free every Wednesday, spread the word. It's a great interaction if you want to know what Gyms is about or anyone. Jim comes here every week and does it for a Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, so we hope to see you there next week. Make sure you download the podcast as well and ask Jim a question. So thanks guys for watching and hanging around.